Welcome to TRN Podcast, episode 104. We've received some frankly concerning reports lately about an increase in bear attacks in the Romanian Carpathians, and this has led to a new warning from the German Foreign Office. It's a fascinating, but also, quite a serious situation we want to get into today.
Absolutely. Multiple sources are pointing to this, and it's definitely important information if you're thinking about traveling to that region, or even if you're just interested in, well, human-wildlife interactions. So our task today really is to understand the details behind this warning, why it's happening, and what it means for travelers based on the information we have.
Okay, let's start with the warning itself. What exactly did the German Foreign Office say?
So they've explicitly asked tourists heading to the Romanian Carpathians to be cautious. The reason being these fatal bear attacks on hikers there. According to our sources, the current warning went up on Saturday. And the wording, roughly translated, is, in the Romanian Carpathians, there is a large free-roaming bear population. Bears searching for food also enter populated areas, towns, and roads, for example, the Trans-Siberian Highway. Several serious attacks on passers-by and hikers, some fatal, are known.
That's pretty direct language, but it's important to stress, isn't it, that this isn't a general travel warning for all of Romania. Some media might have spun it that way.
Exactly, no. That's a crucial distinction. It's a specific safety advisory for the Carpathian region. And what makes this caution necessary is, well, the sheer number of brown bears in Romania.
And we're talking significant numbers here, right? Romania has the biggest brown bear population in Europe, if you exclude Russia, around 8,000, according to government estimates. That's quite something.
It is. But what's becoming increasingly worrying is that these bears, particularly in the southern Carpathians, seem to be losing their natural shyness around people, which unfortunately leads to more encounters and, sadly, more attacks. A really stark example is that Trans-Siberian Highway you just mentioned. It's sort of become this, well, people are calling it a safari route, where tourists actually feed the bears.
A safari route where they feed the bears. That sounds like actively inviting trouble.
It really does.
You see countless videos and photos online documenting this kind of risky behavior. It clearly shows how human actions are messing with the animal's natural boundaries.
Absolutely. This kind of reckless behavior by some visitors definitely contributes significantly to the rise in human-bear conflicts. And these conflicts have escalated in recent years. Between 2016 and 2021, the Romanian Environment Ministry reported 154 bear attacks. These resulted in 14 deaths and 158 injuries.
Wow.
Those figures came out in April 2023, reported by AFP. They're alarming numbers and really highlight how serious the situation is if you're in those areas.
And the most recent tragic incident, the one that probably really pushed this warning forward, was the death of a 19-year-old tourist in July 2024. She was attacked and killed by a bear while hiking in the Begegnung Mountains. Just a horrible event that's obviously shaken a lot of people.
Indeed. And it's not an isolated incident in Europe recently. We might also remember the fatal attack on a jogger in Trentino, Italy, back in 2023. These events always spark intense debate about how to manage bear populations. Just looking at Romania, over the last 20 years, 26 people have been killed in bear attacks and more than 270 injured. It shows this is a persistent and very serious problem.
So faced with this worrying increase in conflicts, the Romanian government has reacted by increasing the culling quotas for brown bears, according to our sources.
That's correct. Back in 2022, the approved cull number was 140 bears per year. Then there was a proposal to raise it to 426. And now, for 2024 and 2025, the quota has actually been set at nearly 500 bears per year.
That's a huge jump.
It is. And it's important context here that brown bears are actually a protected species in Romania. Hunting them, especially trophy hunting, has generally been banned since 2016. However, there's an allowance for killing so-called problem bears, animals proven to pose a repeated direct threat to human safety.
This increase in the quota raises a big ethical question, doesn't it? How do you balance the urgent need for human safety with the long-term protection of a species? It feels a bit reactive rather than maybe addressing the root causes of these conflicts.
That's a central part of the debate, yes.
But getting back to the travel advice, what specific recommendations does the German Foreign Office give travelers?
They strongly advise people to pay attention to all warning signs on site, heed them, and follow instructions from local authorities. They also suggest looking at Italy's travel and safety advice for guidelines on how to behave during a bear encounter. But the most crucial advice is pretty straightforward. Keep your distance from the animals and absolutely do not feed them under any circumstances.
Right. And those Italian behavioral guidelines, our sources detail them a bit more. What should you actually do if you suddenly come across a bear?
The number one rule is stay calm. Try to increase the distance, back away slowly, especially if you stumbled upon it unexpectedly. Bears don't have great eyesight, so it's recommended to make your presence known by speaking quietly. The idea is to avoid startling the bear or appearing as a threat.
Okay, speak quietly, back away slowly. But what if, worst case, there's direct contact? That's the nightmare scenario, but crucial to know if you're hiking there.
If an attack happens, the advice is to lie face down on the ground and play dead. Protect your head and neck. This signals to the bear that you aren't a threat. Trying to flee isn't recommended unless safety, like a car, is literally just a few steps away. Because bears are incredibly fast, and they're excellent climbers too. You really need to know these precautions if you plan to hike in these regions.
Definitely vital advice to remember if you're heading to those areas. And it's not just the Romanian Carpathians where these encounters are becoming more frequent, is it? You mentioned Slovakia briefly earlier.
That's right. There have been reports from Slovakia, too, about an increase in bear sightings and incidents. For instance, back in April, there was a large search party looking for a missing hiker, potentially related to a bear encounter. It just shows that this issue of human-wildlife conflict is heating up in various parts of Europe. It might be becoming more of a continent-wide challenge.
Okay, so let's summarize the key takeaways for everyone listening. There's a heightened risk of bear encounters in the Romanian Carpathians. The German Foreign Office has issued a specific warning urging caution. It's absolutely crucial to follow the safety advice provided to avoid dangerous situations. This is especially relevant if you're planning a trip to that beautiful but, well, wild region.
Absolutely. And reflecting on this, it does bring up a bigger, broader question, doesn't it?
Yeah.
As we see these human-wildlife conflicts increasing in different parts of Europe, what are the sustainable long-term solutions? How can we ensure both human safety and the conservation of these wildlife populations? It's a complex issue that goes beyond just Romania, something perhaps to think about further.